Hey everyone. So you want to get a real handle on digital data collection. You are in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to walk through the entire mWater survey process, literally from a blank screen all the way to having real, actionable data in your hands. So let's just dive right in, shall we? First, we'll cover the absolute basics, how to get your survey started. Then, we'll get into the fun stuff, building out your questions. After that, we'll look at how to deploy your survey to your team in the field. And finally, we'll follow that data all the way home. Platform designed specifically to make monitoring everything from water quality to public health super simple and effective. And the best part, it's completely free. The whole idea is to empower anyone to collect high quality data using just a smartphone or tablet. And that offline capability, wow, that is a total game changer for so many people. Okay, so this is the mWater logo. You're going to see this on the web portal where you design your surveys, and you'll see it on the mobile app that gets used out in the field. So get used to seeing it. Now, let's actually get you logged in and started. All right, first things first, we got to get you into the system. And it's a pretty simple process, but it involves two key parts that work together, a web portal and a mobile app. Let's take a look at how they connect. The easiest way to think of it is like this. The web portal on your computer is your command center. That's where you'll design your surveys and analyze all the data that comes pouring in. And then you've got the mobile app. That's your tool for the field. It's built for one thing, collecting data quickly and reliably, even without an internet connection. You really need both of them working together to make the magic happen. So creating an account is super straightforward. You just head over to the portal or download the app, hit sign up, it's free, and then log in. Simple as that. Okay, now let's get to the really interesting part. Okay, so you're in the system. Now it's time for the real fun, building your very first survey. This is where we take those questions you have in your head and turn them into an actual, powerful digital tool for collecting data. So once you log in, this is your main dashboard. You'll see tabs for surveys, maps, and dashboards. Now, they're all super powerful, but for now, let's just focus on that Surveys tab. That's our starting point. Starting a new survey is literally just a few clicks away. You'll click the Surveys tab, then Create New Survey. A little box will pop up asking for a name. And here's a little pro tip for you. Be really descriptive here. Trust me, a good name like Q3 Household Water Quality Survey is going to save you a ton of headaches down the road. All right, let's add our very first question. You just type your question in, and then you choose the answer format. So for a simple yes or no answer, the radio button type is just perfect. Why? Because it forces the user to pick only one option. That means you get clean, unambiguous data every single time. But what if you need a number, not just a choice? Super easy. You just select the number question type. This is perfect for capturing any kind of quantitative data, counts, measurements, you name it. And what's really cool is you can even set rules, like making sure it's a whole number, which helps prevent those annoying data entry errors. You know, sometimes numbers just don't tell the whole story. By adding an image question, you can let your field team capture a photo right inside the survey. And this isn't just for making things look pretty, no way. It's incredibly powerful for visual verification, for quality control, and honestly, for telling a much more compelling story with your data. Okay, so these basic question types, think of them as just the building blocks, like Lego pieces. The real magic happens when you start combining them to create really sophisticated, detailed surveys. Let's look at what that actually looks like in the real world. I mean, it's one thing to build a simple little 3-question form, right? But what can you really do? What does a real-world professional survey actually look like in action? Let's dive into a typical household survey to see what this platform is truly capable of. Just take a look at this. This slide shows a single question from a really detailed household survey, asking about the main water source. Now, instead of just a blank text field, mWater lets you build this comprehensive multiple choice list. Now, why is this so important? Well, this is absolutely critical for data quality. It makes sure every single response is standardized, which makes your analysis later on so much cleaner and easier. You know, data collection isn't always just about the hard facts and figures. You can also use a tool like mWater to measure really complex, subjective experiences. A perfect example is something called the Water Insecurity Experiences Scale, or the WISE scale, which is designed to capture the emotional and social impact of not having enough water. And honestly, this is where your data can become truly powerful. So these are actual questions from that WISE scale, asking about things like worry or changing what you eat, or even feeling angry about your water situation. Now, think about it. Historically, trying to collect this kind of qualitative data was just incredibly difficult to do at scale. By digitizing it, mWater lets organizations actually quantify the human side of the water crisis in a structured, measurable way. And that is a massive leap forward for program design and advocacy. Okay, so we've just designed this powerful survey in the portal. But how do we actually get it from our computer into the hands of our data collectors out in the field? Well, this final step is where the entire workflow really comes together. The entire workflow is just beautifully simple. You design your survey in the web portal on your computer, then you deploy it to the mobile app for your team to use. It's this really seamless handoff from the design phase right into data collection. So the key to making all this happen is that big deploy button. While you're building your survey, just think of it as a blueprint. Clicking deploy is what brings it to life. It turns that blueprint into a live tool that your team in the field can actually access and use. So, okay, it's deployed. How does the field staff get it on their phones? It's simple. They just open the mWater app on their phone or tablet and they run a sync. That offline sync button is the magic link. It's what downloads that new survey from the cloud right onto their device. This is the critical bridge connecting your office to the field. And boom, just like that, the sync is complete. Your brand new survey appears in their list of available forms. They can now tap on it and start collecting data immediately, even if they're miles and miles away from the nearest cell tower. And all of this brings us to the full data journey. So far, we've really focused on that crucial first step, right? Collecting the data. But that's really just the beginning of the story. Once that data is synced back to the portal, you can then manage it, visualize it on maps and dashboards, and ultimately share those insights to drive better decisions without creating the survey form to begin with. So let's get you logged in and ready to build. Getting started is actually super straightforward. It's just 4 quick steps. You log in, you find forms over on the left-hand side, click that big plus new form button, and then just select survey form. And boom, just like that, you're looking at a fresh blank canvas. Okay, here is a super important tip that's going to save you a massive headache. If you're logged in and you're looking everywhere, but you just can't find that plus new form button, it's almost certainly a permissions thing. You need to have the form creator role. So if you feel stuck, that's the very first thing you should check. All right, foundations poured. Now let's move into the really cool part, the architect's phase, where we actually build this thing. We're going to use a real-world example here, the Household Wash Assessment and Monitoring Survey, to see how it all comes together. This is just a brilliant way to structure a survey. Instead of hitting someone with 35 questions all at once, you break it down into these logical, bite-sized chunks. See the flow? You start with the polite stuff, consent and info, then you get into the real meat of it, water, sanitation, and then you wrap it all up. It just makes sense. Going live is really just a simple 3-step dance. First, you publish the form, which basically flips the on switch. Second, you set up accounts for each person on your team. And third, you assign permissions, which is like handing them the keys to the specific survey and saying, okay, you're good to go. This is so important for keeping your data clean and safe. Think of the enumerator role like this. You're giving your field team exactly the tools they need to do their job, but nothing they don't. They can collect data and send it to you, but they can't accidentally mess with the questions you so carefully designed. It's a fantastic safeguard. All right, we're on the home stretch. The survey is out in the wild. So now let's follow a single piece of data on its journey, from an enumerator's phone in a remote village all the way back to your dashboard. And this timeline shows you the whole beautiful process. The enumerator syncs their phone when they have internet, which downloads the form. And here's the magic part. They can then work completely offline all day long, collecting data. No signal needed. Then, when they get back to a connection, they just hit sync again and whoosh, all that data flies back to the server. Okay, listen up, because if you only take one piece of advice for your field team, this is it. Sync.
every single day. It is non-negotiable. Why? Because if a phone gets lost or broken, you don't lose an entire day's worth of hard work. Plus, it means you get to see the data as it's coming in, which is amazing for monitoring your progress in near real time. And that brings us to the final critical step in the whole process, verification. This is where you, back at your desk, are watching that data come in. You're checking it for any obvious errors, making sure it's complete. You're basically closing the quality control loop and making sure you can trust the results you're seeing. So there you have it. From a simple idea to a live stream of valuable data, you now have the power to build, deploy, and manage a really robust survey. The only question left is, what amazing insights are you about to uncover?